The moment Camilla opened the sealed Windsor briefing, everything inside the palace changed. It was not a rumor, not a passing conversation, and not another quiet family disagreement. It was a decision already made behind closed doors. Princess Charlotte had been privately prepared for a future ceremonial role called the Windsor Continuity Guardian, a position designed to protect royal tradition, guide future heirs, and stand above Camilla's non-royal family in palace protocol. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Camilla did not speak. She sat in the private sitting room at Clarence's house, with the folder before her, the red ribbon seal broken across the table. Clarence's house, Charles's London residence, had seen tense meetings before, but this felt different. A senior aide had placed it down, lowered his eyes, and left. That told the Queen Consort enough clearly. This was not information being shared. This was a decision being delivered. Camilla turned the first page, and Charlotte's name appeared repeatedly. The Windsor Continuity Guardian, meaning a future symbolic role created to protect royal memory, guide ceremonial tradition, and support heirs, was not an empty title. It carried access, trust, and palace weight that Camilla knew her children and grandchildren would never touch. She had fought for acceptance for years, endured whispers and exclusions. Yet a little girl had been placed above her family circle. The Queen Consort's shock hardened when she reached the approval page. Charles had signed it. William had signed beneath him. The king, the husband she believed trusted her with the monarchy's private machinery, had moved without warning. William, the future king who guarded his children fiercely, had approved Charlotte's preparation in secret. Camilla felt betrayal before she could name it. The men whose loyalty she thought she understood had chosen bloodline over her comfort. Then came the page that cut deepest. Charlotte had been guided for months through private lessons in royal history, protocol, and dynastic responsibility. Protocol, the system of rules that decides rank, access, and behavior inside royal life, had become the weapon Camilla feared most. One confidential note said the role must remain bloodline protected. Camilla read those words twice, then pushed the folder away. Camilla rose from the chair, anger overtaking disbelief. She did not ask for comfort. She did not ask for time. She demanded William be brought to her. And in that command palace calm began to fracture. But before Camilla could confront William, the deeper wound became clear. This was not only about Charlotte's future. It was about every person who suddenly understood where they truly stood. Princess Charlotte was not standing in a throne room when the storm began. She was sitting with Catherine in a quiet family room, unaware that her name had ignited a private crisis among adults who understood power better than her. For William, Charlotte represented duty protected before ambition. For Camilla, the same name became a symbol of exclusion, proof that palace bloodlines still carried doors her family could never open. Catherine watched Charlotte practice a small ceremonial curtsy, and pride rose before fear followed. A ceremonial curtsy, in plain words, is a formal gesture used during royal moments. But to the princess, it felt like childhood being pulled toward duty. Charlotte did it carefully, and Catherine understood why that mattered. The child was not being shaped for applause. She was being shaped for continuity, discipline, and a future where silence carried power. William stood near the doorway and chose not to interrupt. The prince saw the same care in Charlotte that had once been demanded of him, and it hurt, because he knew how early duty could steal softness. He wanted his daughter protected, yet he knew the monarchy needed steady figures who could carry tradition without turning it into ambition. Charlotte was perfect for it, and that perfection made her vulnerable. Camilla heard the meaning differently. The Queen Consort understood that her family, though close to her heart, held no constitutional royal status, meaning they had personal ties, but no official place in royal authority. That mattered, because affection could invite someone to a table, but bloodline could decide influence. Camilla felt that difference like a locked door. Charlotte's path did not merely honor the young royal. It reminded the Queen Consort that her circle would remain outside the deepest rooms. Charles had left a private note in the briefing, and that note revealed the reason through a documented account prepared for the household. The king had written that Charlotte carried youth, direct royal bloodline, public affection, and distance from adult rivalries around the throne. He believed she could steady the next generation. Yet Camilla saw the same words as a wall against her family, because no matching role existed for anyone connected to her side. Then Camilla learned Catherine had known. That detail changed the temperature of the crisis. The queen consort no longer saw a secret guarded by Charles and William alone. She saw another mother standing closer to the decision than she had been allowed to stand, and anger sharpened into something personal. Yet the roots of Camilla's fury did not begin with the file itself. They began months earlier, during one small ceremony that changed how Charles saw Charlotte forever. Every palace crisis has a hidden beginning, and this one began during a private Windsor chapel rehearsal no cameras ever saw. Charlotte had been asked to carry a small velvet-bound book of royal vows during a family remembrance service. What happened next was quiet, almost invisible. But Charles never forgot it. In that single moment, the king saw not a child playing a part, but a royal soul already understanding the weight of tradition. Charlotte stepped forward during the Windsor Chapel remembrance rehearsal, and the room held its breath. The rehearsal mattered, because it was meant to prepare the family for a remembrance service, a solemn royal gathering, where prayers, vows, and family memory are honored in a fixed order. Windsor Chapel, one of the family's most sacred worship spaces, carried its own pressure. Every movement meant something. Every pause felt watched. Charlotte did not seem afraid, and that calm unsettled the adults more than any mistake could have. Charles watched from the front pew as an aide misplaced the vow book. A vow book is a small ceremonial text containing words used during formal royal remembrance moments, and its position in the service mattered because it shaped the order of prayer and blessing. Charlotte noticed the error before anyone corrected it. She gently told the aide, "This comes before the blessing," then returned the book without waiting for praise. The king saw the gesture. He saw the discipline. He saw the instinct. Catherine felt a quiet chill run through her pride. The princess understood why the moment mattered. Charlotte had not been coached into that correction. She had absorbed it by watching, listening, and living inside a family where duty was never far from childhood. Catherine admired her daughter's steadiness, yet fear sat beneath the admiration. A child who understood the crown too early might one day be loved for strength before anyone remembered her softness. William felt the same pull from the doorway. The prince was proud, but the pride hurt. Charlotte had inherited the same silent seriousness that had shaped him before he was ready, and he recognized the danger immediately. Duty could make a child shine. Duty could also steal pieces of peace no crown could ever return. William wanted to protect her, but he also knew Charles had seen something that could not be unseen. Charles acted after the rehearsal ended. The king asked a private secretary to prepare a confidential assessment of Charlotte's future ceremonial potential, and that documented account became the first written source behind the later decision. A confidential assessment simply meant a private palace review, written for senior eyes only. It became the foundation for the Windsor Continuity Guardian plan, while Camilla's family remained outside every discussion. Charles later told William in a recorded private conversation, "She understands the crown without needing it explained." That sentence became the spark. And once Camilla discovered that one chapel moment had carried more power than all her years, beside Charles, she stopped seeing the decision as tradition and started seeing it as betrayal. The confrontation did not happen in public. It happened in a closed room where every word landed like a blow. Camilla stood beside the table with the Windsor file open in front of her, while William entered slowly, already knowing why he had been summoned. There were no aides to soften the exchange, no court language to hide the wound, only a furious queen consort and a future king refusing to apologize. William heard the door close behind him, and the sound ended every polite escape. Clarence House mattered because it was not neutral ground. It was the London home tied to Charles and Camilla's world, a place where the queen consort expected loyalty to arrive before protocol. The Windsor file remained open between them, and that file, a private briefing paper setting out royal decisions, turned Charlotte's name into the sharpest object in the room. William saw the page. Camilla saw him see it. Camilla struck first, with words she had been holding since the seal broke. She accused the prince of lifting Charlotte into a protected future while her own family was treated like permanent outsiders. The queen consort did not speak about ambition. She spoke about humiliation. Her children could dine with royalty, smile beside royalty, and live near royalty. Yet they could never cross the deeper line blood had drawn. William answered with controlled force. The prince told her the role belonged to the crown's future, not to private comfort, reward, or family repair. The crown, meaning the continuing monarchy beyond any one person, mattered because it had to survive rivalries affection could not solve. William knew his words sounded cold, but he also knew softness could become danger when adults turned a child's duty into a contest for influence. Camilla demanded to know how long he had hidden it. William revealed, through the recorded private account preserved in the household file, that he had personally insisted Charlotte's preparation remain shielded from adult palace rivalries. The prince said Charles agreed, because the king feared instability ahead and wanted Charlotte prepared as a steadying figure for the next generation. That revelation hit Camilla harder than the signature. It meant the plan had not merely passed through William, it had been protected by him. Camilla's anger cracked into something raw. She asked whether Charles had chosen Charlotte over her family, and William did not answer. The silence became crueler than any denial. The queen consort understood it before he spoke again. Her place beside the king had not erased the palace's oldest rule. That silence sent Camilla toward the one person who could no longer hide behind signatures or palace procedure, Charles himself. Charles had signed many documents in his life, but this one carried a different kind of cost. When Camilla entered his study, he was not surrounded by celebration or victory. He was sitting alone with the same Windsor file, his pen resting beside the final approval page. The king looked tired, almost older than he had the day before, because he understood exactly what his decision had done to the woman beside him. Camilla stopped near the desk, and for a moment her anger had nowhere to go. The Windsor file, a private royal briefing that recorded decisions before they became palace action, lay open like a wound between them. Charles held the real power because he had approved the creation of the Windsor Continuity Guardian role and authorized Charlotte's preparation. That mattered because William could defend the future, but only the king could make the future official. Charles did not reach for the pen again. The Windsor Continuity Guardian, a symbolic role meant to preserve royal memory, guide younger heirs, and strengthen the monarchy's identity, had never been designed as a family insult. Yet the monarch knew exactly why Camilla saw it that way. The queen consort's children could be loved by him, welcomed by him, and protected by him, but they could not be placed inside the direct royal line. That truth had always waited beneath the surface. Camilla asked why he had kept it from her, and the question came out less furious than broken. The queen consort had shouted at William, but with Charles her voice carried something deeper, hurt. She wanted to know why the man beside her had chosen silence. She wanted to know why Charlotte's name had been guarded like a state secret, while her own place beside him suddenly felt smaller. Charles set down the pen and gave the answer he had avoided for too long. The king said Charlotte had to be protected from anyone who might turn her duty into a family contest. He revealed, through a documented private account attached to the household file, that Queen Elizabeth's old guidance had shaped his thinking. Her guidance was simple but severe. Direct royal children must be prepared for burdens before crisis arrives, because the crown cannot wait until everyone is comfortable. Camilla absorbed the words and understood the blow behind them. This was not William's impulse. This was not a sudden decision made to humiliate her. It came from a deeper royal philosophy, one that existed before her influence and would continue after it. Charles refused to reverse the order, and that refusal changed everything. The palace had moved without her. The king's refusal did not calm the storm. It released it, sending shock through staff corridors, family rooms, and every private alliance inside the palace. The fallout began with small things, which made it even more humiliating. A guest list was revised. A seating plan changed. A private archive appointment disappeared from a diary. No announcement was made, but everyone inside the palace understood what was happening. Camilla's family had not been attacked openly. They had simply been moved back to the edge, while Charlotte's future place was quietly protected at the center. Camilla noticed the first cut when a diary secretary entered with careful words and nervous hands. The family lunch, she was told, had to be rebalanced. A diary secretary is the palace aide, who manages royal schedules, invitations, and private appointments, so that small sentence carried official weight. The queen consort gripped the arm of her chair and did not answer. She understood the message at once. Her family had not been banned. They had been lowered. Palace staff began enforcing a new protocol distinction. And protocol meant the rules deciding who stands where, who enters which room, and who receives private access. That distinction mattered, because Charlotte's future ceremonial status now gave her a protected place in royal planning, while Camilla's non-royal family remained guests, not participants. The change appeared in tiny details that cut deeply: archive access, family seating, private briefings, and ceremonial proximity during future Windsor events. Catherine felt sadness instead of victory. The princess saw Charlotte becoming the reason adults were drawing sharper lines around the Tulle family, and that troubled her more than Camilla's anger. Charlotte had not asked for rank. Charlotte had not asked for protection to become punishment. Catherine understood why William wanted the child shielded. She also feared the shield was becoming a wall everyone could see. William acted with cold resolve. Prince instructed staff that Charlotte's preparation must continue without interruption, even if Camilla refused the next family gathering. His instruction appeared in a documented household note, making the decision impossible to soften later. William believed delay would only turn Charlotte into a bargaining piece. He wanted the palace to understand one thing clearly: the child's future would not be paused because adults felt wounded. A senior courtier then removed Camilla, relatives, from a private Windsor heritage briefing that had once seemed routine. A heritage briefing is a closed meeting where family history, ceremonial traditions, and archive materials are explained before major events. The removal mattered because it proved the new order was no longer emotional. It was practical. Camilla's circle had lost access without a public word. Camilla declined dinner at Windsor, and the refusal landed harder than any argument. Charles received the message quietly. William understood what it meant before anyone explained. The palace had moved from anger into consequence, and the first visible fracture now forced father and son toward a private conversation neither could avoid. But the crisis only begins to shift when William stops defending the decision as future, strategy, and finally speaks to Charles as a son. The turning point came without witnesses. No courtiers stood by the door. No secretary took notes. Charles and William sat across from each other in a private room where the silence felt heavier than any argument. For once, the issue was not Camilla, not protocol, and not even palace control. It was Charlotte. A little girl had become the center of a struggle she had never asked to enter. Charles invited William after Camilla refused dinner, and the absence of aides changed the meaning of the meeting. Courtiers are senior palace helpers who manage royal messages, schedules, and sensitive family matters. So their removal stripped away every official shield. The king was not speaking as a monarch first. William was not answering as the future king first. Father and son had reached the part of the crisis no document could solve. William looked at Charles and finally said what he had held back. The prince admitted he feared Charlotte would be praised for duty before she was allowed to be simply loved as a child. That mattered because royal praise often becomes pressure. A compliment inside the monarchy can become a lifelong expectation, and William knew how quickly admiration could turn into a cage. Charlotte's gift had made her visible, but visibility could be dangerous. Charles lowered his eyes, and the room softened without becoming easy. The king confessed, through a recorded private conversation later summarized in the household account, that he had seen in Charlotte a chance to prepare the monarchy better than he himself had been prepared. The monarchy, meaning the royal system built around continuity, duty, and public service, had survived by asking each generation to carry pain quietly. Charles did not want Charlotte broken by that same silence. William pushed the matter further. The prince asked Charles to formally separate Charlotte's training from any punishment of Camilla's family, because the child could not be remembered as the reason doors closed. That request mattered, because Charlotte's role was meant to protect the future, not deepen resentment. William understood Camilla's anger, even if he would not surrender to it. He wanted the line protected, but not poisoned. Charles listened longer than William expected. The king agreed to keep the role intact, but ordered the language around it softened in the next internal note. An internal note is a private palace instruction used to guide staff before any public wording appears. Charles made one point clear. Charlotte's position was about service, not revenge. The queen consort's family would remain outside the royal structure, but the palace would stop letting that truth look like punishment. Charles then said the words that changed the course of the crisis. Then we protect her first. William heard the father beneath the crown. The king heard the son beneath the duty. And with that emotional shift sealed, the palace prepared one message for the storm outside. That message was tested almost immediately, because by morning, the private drama had escaped. The palace walls and the country was staring at Charlotte's name. By sunrise, the palace could no longer pretend the crisis was contained. Britain woke to one image: Princess Charlotte's name printed across a newspaper front page. Beside the words, "The child, chosen to guard Windsor's future." What had begun as a sealed family file now belonged to the public imagination. Outside Kensington Palace, a small crowd gathered quietly, not in anger, but in fascination and concern. Catherine watched the broadcast from a private room and felt her heart tighten before the first headline finished. Kensington Palace, the London residents closely linked to William, Catherine, and their children, mattered because it turned Charlotte's private burden into something painfully close to home. Broadcasters framed the story as a generational power shift, meaning a change in attention from the older royal circle to the younger bloodline. Catherine understood why the country was watching. She also understood what the country could not see. A child was becoming a symbol before she could understand the cost. Charlotte walked in before the next segment began, and Catherine turned the sound down at once. The princess did not want her daughter hearing adults debate her future as if it were a prize, a punishment, or a palace strategy. Charlotte's name had become public currency, and that mattered, because public love can feel warm until it becomes public ownership. Catherine smiled gently, but the fear remained. She knew protection would now require more than silence. Camilla saw the same front page at breakfast and folded the paper sharply. The queen consort left her tea untouched, because every printed word felt like confirmation that the palace had moved past her resistance. A fictional Sunday front page had described Charlotte as the young royal prepared for a historic continuity role above Camilla's family circle, and the phrase struck like a verdict. Camilla could survive criticism. What wounded her was public proof that her family stood outside the line. The palace response arrived by mid-morning through a written statement, and that statement revealed more by what it avoided than what it said. It confirmed Charlotte's future would be guided by duty and family protection, but it did not deny the special preparation. A written palace response is an official message used to control public understanding during a crisis. And this one mattered because it tried to calm the storm without erasing the truth. Outside Kensington Palace, one woman laid a small white ribbon near the gate with a card reading, "Let her be a child, even if she must one day serve." That single gesture caught the public mood better than any broadcast. People were not only shocked, they were uneasy. The family now had to stop fighting over hierarchy and face the real verdict, whether this decision strengthened the monarchy or exposed its deepest wound. And when the noise finally faded, the answer was not found in headlines, but in the private faces of the people who had been changed by Charlotte's name. In the end, the palace did not reverse the decision. Camilla did not win the fight. William did not apologize for protecting Charlotte's future, and Charles did not tear up the order he had signed. The Windsor Continuity Guardian role remained, but the meaning around it changed. It was no longer presented as a triumph over Camilla's family. It became a solemn admission that the monarchy survives by asking children to carry burdens adults cannot settle. Charlotte's preparation continued, but the palace formally framed it as service, preservation, and future guidance. Service meant duty performed for the monarchy and the public, not personal gain. Preservation meant protecting royal memory, ceremony, and family tradition before they could be weakened by conflict. That mattered because Charlotte's role could no longer be allowed to look like a weapon against Camilla. The child had to be protected from the bitterness her name had awakened. Camilla sat alone after the final briefing, and this time she did not shout. The queen consort understood that her family remained outside the royal bloodline structure, meaning the direct line of birth that decides who carries official royal inheritance and authority. Private affection could bring her children close to Charles, but it could not erase constitutional and dynastic boundaries. That realization wounded her more deeply than the file itself. The fight had never truly been about one role. It had been about the limit of her influence. William found Charlotte later that evening and spoke to her gently. The prince did not speak like a strategist. He spoke like a father who knew victory meant nothing if his daughter felt trapped by it. Charlotte listened, too young to understand every detail, but old enough to feel the seriousness in his voice. William's greatest success was not winning the argument with Camilla. It was making a quiet promise that duty would never be allowed to swallow his daughter's heart. Charles kept the signed order locked in the royal archive, knowing it would one day be remembered as the moment he chose continuity over comfort. The royal archive, a protected collection of official family records and historic papers, mattered because it turned private pain into permanent history. The king knew the order carried sadness, but he also believed the monarchy needed clarity before another crisis arrived. Catherine understood the cost with painful calm. The princess knew Charlotte's role would shape the child forever, yet she also saw that her daughter now stood behind a stronger shield than before. This moment meant the monarchy chose its future bloodline with brutal clarity. Camilla discovered the ceiling of her power, and Charlotte became both protected and burdened by the crown's survival. The story closes with one undeniable truth. Camilla's fury shook the palace, but Charlotte's quiet future changed it, and Windsor moved forward, knowing exactly who stood at its center. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.